I have been in a deep study here of fine-tuning the plan of salvation, Leviticus 23, that I plan on doing here in the next, I'm not sure exactly, probably the next couple weeks. It's an extensive video. I don't know how many parts I'll do, or maybe I'll do the whole thing in a video. I'm not sure, depending on the time. I wanted to do an in-depth look of actual Leviticus 23 and breaking it down to show the actual plan of salvation for man in three phases, and showing again how it's the priesthood that is the first phase to come right now. But it is taking me some time. I'm not even sure how I'm going to do that video, if I'm just going to kind of go through it and read it or what. It is going to be a study for sure, and one that you are definitely going to have to take and do on your own. But I feel it very important that I kind of share it and kind of give you at least my understanding of how I see the book of Leviticus, and in terms of the plan of salvation from for man. And throughout this period of the last month or so, I've been doing a lot of Torah, deep study in Torah, which I normally do, a couple chapters a day anyway. But as of late, I'm trying to get this completely, and I'm not going to have it complete. I mean, it's just going to be too much. There's a lot of stuff I could go into as we continue through with the breaking down the verses of Leviticus 23, as we've been doing in all of the book of Leviticus, but it will just bring me into too many areas of the Bible that I just won't have enough time to continue to go over and over and over. But it's endless. But throughout this time, I was going through the book of Exodus and Leviticus, of course, Deuteronomy and all of them, but specifically in Exodus, I find it very interesting how, the first time God really starts talking to the people as a whole is in Exodus. And when we start getting more of his understanding of what his plan was for man, I'm starting to kind of see a pattern of, Genesis being a breakaway point to the rest of the plan of salvation. Everything after Exodus and everything after is kind of is separated for me from Genesis, and I haven't had time to really figure that out yet. But I see a big separation between the two, almost like the redemption of all things was started in full in action from Exodus on to now where we are today, versus the book of Genesis, which seems to be more of a different era, different plan of salvation, etc. for them in that period. But again, I haven't had a lot of time to really break that out. I'm sure I will later on down the road. But what I wanted to do today was just do a real quick video, because I remember being in the Church of God, COGS, and one of the biggest arguments that we always had to put up a defense for, and obviously I was that person putting up a defense, was, did Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob follow the law? Because we read, of course, in Genesis 20, or I can't remember right now off the top of my head, something 26, I think, where it says, God says that Abraham followed all his laws, commandments, and statutes and ordinances. And then we've always had the argument that, well, there it is, that proves that they followed the law of Moses. And that's what I believed for a long time, of course, being part of that. And that's one of their pillar arguments, even to this day, for them to follow the law that they continue to do physically, getting their righteousness from it. But I've come across a few things over the years that really prove to me personally, anyway, that the law, in fact, was not given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And in fact, everything, even when we read in the book of Romans from Paul, everything was through faith. Everything is from the heart, which I've been preaching on this channel from the get-go, is it's all about your heart. It has nothing to do with physical laws. It has nothing to do with the physical period. It's about your heart, and it's about the spirit. So, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, in regards to following all the laws, commandments, statutes, ordinances, etc., they followed it from their heart. Yeah, they walked out actions, they walked out works, etc. after that. But that's just the fruit of your labor. But it's not the actual Mosaic law, or the law that was given to Moses, which is 620 or 612, whatever it is, commandments. And I came across a real couple real good scriptures today I wanted to kind of show as a quick video to kind of snap it out there, even for those out there that are still, going on about this, because it's really bad, as we know, with these Hebrew roots, these messianics, going out and declaring these people to, keep the feast and walk in the Moses law, which I did, and as everybody knows, it's destructive. And what I wanted to do today was just kind of put out a couple scriptures to say, hey, wait a minute. If in fact this was the case, why did A, B, and C happen? And you're going to realize that there's no way that the Mosaic law was given to Abraham. And it's not the same law, essentially. All right. Let's start out in Exodus. So as we understand Exodus, we're coming out of Egypt. This is going to be the first time that God starts talking to the people as a whole. And what I mean by the people, as I mean everybody. I mean the children of Israel, the million or 2, 3 million, however many there were, speaking the 10 Commandments from the Mount, where all of them heard it from his own voice, not translated from Moses. So we're getting a full scale, essentially, discussions and addressings from God himself to the people. And what we're going to do is we're going to start here. And this is where one of the things I wanted to point out, where we're going to have to start thinking, being like, did it actually have the same law? Well, let's take a look. And Amram took him, Jochebed, his father's sister, to be wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses. And the years of the life of Amram, 137. So right off the bat here, okay, Amram, which was before Moses, before the law of Moses, before Moses was ordained, set apart, sanctified, and given the commandments of God to give to the Israelites. We have his father taking his father's sister. And what does that say? Well, that's an abomination according to the law of Moses. So did Amram know that he should have not have done that, and in fact he bore Aaron and Moses, which is probably the most important prophet of all time in the history of life? Was he born as an abomination? I think not. Or maybe Amram just was not given the law of Moses. So again, Amram took him a wife, Jochebed, his father's sister, which is a no-no according to the law. And we're going to see that right here. And because again, we're going through the book of Leviticus, you should know this well as we continue through this line by line. And again, this is the only way you're going to understand the law and be able to make a complete understanding and direction and teaching of it. Okay, because there's a lot of wolves out there. 12, Leviticus 18:12. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is the father's near kinswoman. So essentially you cannot what? Lay with, marry, have sex with your aunt. It's an abomination. It's against the law. We get this again in 20, which he double references it because it's clearly something he does not want people to do. In 20:19. And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor of thy father's sister, for he uncovereth his near kin. They shall bear their iniquity. And of course they would, tremendously, because that would be an intentional sin, which was not covered very much in the Old Testament. It was death. So right off the bat, we see that Moses and Aaron's father, well, looks like they did that. How about Exodus 21? 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Okay, he that selleth or stealeth a man, or he that carry away a man. Who did that? Who did that? Well, let's go to Genesis. Let's go to 37. You're going to know this. And let's go to 26 to 28. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and in brethren with content. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. Joseph had brought into Egypt. Oh boy. So here we have Judah selling his brother. Okay, selling his brother, Joseph. Okay, probably the two most important sons in the book of Genesis, Judah and Joseph. Judah, who came from the line of Judah? I mean, the line of Judah is why we're here today. Joseph is two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, two most important tribes in the understanding of end times, and getting the blessings, getting the name of Israel put on them. This is pretty important. So Judah, according to the law of Moses, should have been killed. So therefore what? This would never have happened? No. Whoa. Wow. Wait a minute. Judah was killed. Would Christ be born? According to the line, not according to the flesh. You see what I'm saying? You see the hiccups here? Okay. This is important for those out there that could be still in the cogs and whatnot. But these are just understandings, all right? And of course, the Romans 5, which they never want to accept because they can twist it and translate it and etc. Well, I just gave you two proof scriptures right there that just end it. There's just no more discussion in regards to that, because then you would sit here and say, well, wait a minute, maybe they did go against the law. No, they didn't go against it. They're patriarchs. It just wasn't given to them, okay? But let's look at 13 and 14. Romans 5. For until the law, or up unto the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that not sinned in the similitude of Adam. Okay, so we have here, which is proof anyways, again, that for up unto the law, so up unto the law, sin was in the world. Of course it was. But there was not imputed because there was no law given. Okay, but this is, and again, these are just two or three that I wanted to bring to your attention. As I continue to carve out my study for the plan of salvation, I thought I would just share this. I've done a study on this, I think, or a video on this a long time ago, proving more and more that the law wasn't given, because there's a tremendous amount of other scriptures. But I find that these ones that I've given you today are very, very easy to say, you broke the law, you're an abomination, you're put to death, etc. So, I hope everybody's doing okay. Hopefully I'll have this plan of salvation out shortly. And yeah, thanks so much. Bye-bye.